Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we'll talk about string data types in Python. Strings are considered as any textual data that is surrounded by either double quotes or single quotes. For example, let's say we have a variable my course assigned to a value Python tutorial. So this text that has been surrounded by double quotes, we refer to it as string in Python. We can also surround it using single quotes at the end and at the beginning of our text. Let's consider a case where we want to use apostrophe within our string. Let's say, for example, Alice course. You want to have apostrophe before the S, and if you want to have apostrophe within a single quote string, we'll have to tell Python that we have not ended our string here, because Python will think that you have ended your string here and the rest is an invalid code giving you a syntax error. So, and there are multiple ways you can do that. Firstly, we can surround our strings using double quotes, and you can have single quotes inside it. So the error has gone. Or if you want to stick with your single quote string, you can use something called escape characters. An escape character is just a backslash followed by the character that you want to use. For example, here apostrophe, and you are telling Python that this is not meant to be the end of our string, and it will treat it as part of the string. If we print this course variable, my course variable, and run our file, you are going to get an apostrophe within our string, Alice course. The same case applies to our double quote strings. Let's say you want to have a double quote string Alice course surrounded by double quotes, and you want to have a double quote within our double quote strings. Maybe in place of this apostrophe, we want to have a quote, and Python will think that we have ended our string here, and will treat the rest of our code as invalid. And you have to tell Python that this is not invalid, and we just want to have a quote within our string. And we can use also escape characters, and it will treat it as part of our string. If you run our file, it's going to print Alice course and treat this quote as part of our string. We also have other escape characters that we can use in our string. For example, let's say if you want to print a tab within our string, we'll have to use backslash then followed by T, which stands for tab. And that will print tab within our string. Right there. We can also print a new line within our string by using backslash n. If you run our file again, whatever comes before the backslash will be printed on a new line, and whatever comes after the backslash will be printed on a new line. Like that, Ali and then S course on a new line. You can also print a backslash within our string by using backslash after the escape character, and the backslash will be printed as a part of our string. The other way you can use quotes within our strings is to use a multi-line strings. Multi-line strings are strings that are surrounded by triple quotes. Let's make this a multi-line string by printing into the next line. So we are going to have a syntax error unless we make this string triple quotes. If we surround our quotes with triple quotes, either triple double quotes or triple single quotes, Python will identify this string as multi-line string, and we can print as many lines as possible within our string. Let's say Alice course is about Python language. You can print as many lines as you want. You can even use apostrophes like here in your string. Maybe it is meant for Udemy students who wants to learn Python. As you can see here, I have used apostrophe or a single quote within our triple quote. I have also used it here, so it will be a valid way. If you print this multi-line string, so it's going to print whatever you have placed, whatever quotes you have placed within your string, and it will be treated as part of our string. So as you can see here, we can also make this string triple single quotes, surrounded with three quotes, surrounded with three single quotes, and also Python will treat it as multi-line string. You can have single quotes within our string. Let's also look at row strings. Row strings are strings that ignores all escape characters in a string and prints any backslashes that appear in the string. Let's see an example. Let's say if you have a single quote string that says, maybe please rate Alice course, and if you escape this apostrophe using escape character, Python will treat it as part of the string, and if you print it onto the screen, so it will appear as part of our string. But if you use a row string, let's say a prefix with an R before our beginning quote, Python will also treat this backslash as part of our string. Let's run our file. It has printed both backslash and the apostrophe, which means that Python will ignore all escape characters that appear in a string when you are using row strings, and it will also print any backslash that will appear in a string. Row strings are very helpful when you are typing string values with many backslashes. And a good example of using row strings is when we are trying to print out a string value that contains Windows file path. For example, if I try to print these files, Windows file path, it's going to look like this. It begins with cap C, colon, backslash, users, then slash Ali, then our folder's name, Python, then within the folder you have our strings, .py file. So Python will treat these backslashes as part of our string when we are using row strings. If I try to run our file, all the backslashes are going to be printed as part of the string. So this is most helpful when you are trying to print Windows file paths like this one. Let's talk about indexing and slicing strings in Python. When you define a string in Python, it will assign each character that appears in your string to a corresponding index number, and it starts from 0. Let's say we have a string that says please rate this course, and I hope you guys will leave your feedback whether you find this course helpful or there is something I can improve on. Your feedback will be highly appreciated. Take a minute now and leave a rating and your feedback. Thank you. So let's say we have a string that says please read this course. When you define a string like this, Python will assign each character, for example, PLES, each character that appears in our string to a corresponding index number, and it starts from 0. So it will assign the first character to an index 0, the second character to index 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. And you can access these characters using the index number that has been assigned by Python. We can get any character in our string using its corresponding index number. Let's say, for example, if we want to get P, which is our first character in our string, so it's starting from index 0. So if we specify that within, of course, you're going to use our variable because our string is stored within this variable, my course. So if we specify the index that you want to get from our string using these square brackets, for example, let's say 0, and store this variable in another variable, let's say maybe my course or my character equal to this, and if you print this character, you are going to get the character in position 0, which is P, and it has printed P. Let's also specify index maybe 4. What do you guys think we'll get? So it will start from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this S is the first index, and it will return the position at that index, which is S. You can also specify maybe 7. If you run our file again, it's returning R. So let's count: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any space is counted that appears within our string. So the 7th is the R. Any space and any special character like this one is counted. Let's say, for example, if you want to print the length of our characters, you can use the length method, and then specify our variable where our string is stored. And if we print the length of our characters, it has returned 24, which are just the number of characters in our string. So the length starts from 1 and index starts from 0. Please don't confuse. So let's count the length. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Spaces are also counted. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Also symbols like this exclamation marks are counted. So the length is just the number of characters and starts from 1. Index starts from 0 and it's the position of our characters. We can access a range of characters using the index. Let's say my course, using square brackets, you can access a range of characters. So this is the first one is where the range, our index range will start, and the last one is where our index range will end. So the last one will not be included. Let's just print and see it for ourselves. It will include the first range, which is P 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it will not include the last index range. And if we leave off, for example, the first range and just print the last range, it will start from the beginning and print to where you have specified to end your index range. Let's also maybe say we want to start at index maybe 9 and we don't specify the end range. So it will begin from the 9th range and it will print the rest of the index range. So it is beginning from this T of this red. Let's try to count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it has begun from the start index to the end if you don't specify the last index range. And that's how you can access a range of characters by just specifying the range using square brackets. We can also access the characters in our strings backwards using the negative sign. So this first one will begin with -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on and so forth. So if you try to access it, cos, and then within the square bracket, if you try to access the -1, so that's the beginning backwards. So it will return this symbol or this exclamation mark, which is at the end of our string. We can also maybe access -4th index, and it will return the character in that position, which is R. So let's count: -1, this symbol, -2, -3, -4. Also, you can return a range of characters. Let's say from -4 up to the end. So it starts from -4th position. It's starting from R, -1, -2, -3, -4. We have not specified the end index range, so it's going to go up to the end of our string, and it has returned from R to the end.